Alright, so I was thinking that I would do my starting exercises while watching the Finding Your Female Voice by Andrea James. I've had some issues with my webcam, and my new webcam won't run for whatever reason. So I'm going to have to do this with my old webcam. I don't know if there's any sound or anything, but that's it. So let's start the video. I've watched a bit of it. We're in the part where Andrea talks about the anatomy of your, the whole sound apparatus. Your lungs, bronchs, trachea, and all that. I mean, I have read medicine, so I know this, and I really don't need a repetition of it. But I'm going to keep this rolling, and I'm going to start the video now, and we'll see what happens. I don't remember this video at all, actually. It is on YouTube. All you have to search for is Finding Your Female Voice by Deep Stealth.
You can see the tongue is actually pretty big. We can only see a small part of it when we stick it out, and it goes way down into our throats. When you swallow, what happens is your tongue seals off your mouth by pressing up against your palate, which is the roof of your mouth. And then it forces all the contents of your mouth down your throat. Once you put your hand on your throat and swallow, you'll be able to feel all those muscles sort of moving in unison. Now, down in your throat where you're feeling, there's actually two tubes. The one in the back that you can't really feel goes to your stomach and is called the esophagus. And the one in front, which is the one you can feel, goes to your lungs, and that's your trachea. To keep food and saliva from going into your lungs, there's this flap of cartilage called the epiglottis, and that covers up your air passage as you swallow. When you breathe in and out, the epiglottis moves up and out of the way.
This is
The next diagram shows the cartilage in your throat. On the left side is a front angle view, and on the right is a side cross sections that you can see inside where your vocal cord is. The hard stuff that comprises your ears and nose are made of cartilage too. It's softer, more flexible than bone, but it's still pretty rigid. So this area in your throat that we're looking at that's made of cartilage is called your voice box, or your larynx. If you squeeze your throat with your fingers, starting under your jaw and moving down towards your collarbones, you're going to feel all kinds of lumps and bumps and ridges in the cartilage. And that's because your larynx actually has several different pieces. You have all sorts of muscles and ligaments in that area that move these pieces of cartilage around. If you put your fingers on your throat and swallow, you'll feel everything kind of move. It's a really complex process, and you don't even think about it usually. What we're going to do is look at ways that we can get that muscle to be more under our control. The thyroid cartilage, if you'll look on the chart, is the biggest piece, and that's the one that sticks out the most, and it's usually known by its common name, the Adam's apple. When you get a trachea shave to reduce the size of your Adam's apple, that's what the surgeon is cutting away. Now the trick is, your vocal cords are right behind there, so they have to be really careful not to damage those or do anything that's going to change your vocal cords, because that'll totally change the way your voice sounds. The last thing we're going to look at is a cross-section from inside your mouth looking down your throat at your larynx, and this actually shows the vocal cords themselves. On the left there's a diagram, and on the right is a photo from the same angle. If you can see down at the bottom is the tongue and the epiglottis, and directly above them are your actual vocal cords. And there are these two identical sort of grayish muscles that stretch across your air passage, and they vibrate when air moves through your trachea. And you can actually see in the diagram that there's a little space where the air is coming through. These muscles can completely close together and seal off your air passage due to these vestibular folds that connect the vocal cords to the walls of your larynx. Most of the sounds that you can make are caused by using these muscles to change the shape of your larynx and to increase or decrease the tension of your vocal cords.
Alright, so that was some of the anatomy, and let's see what the next part has, because I think that the exercises are starting soon. I don't even know if this is recording. I think that it is. it's hard to see with this sort of video. I don't know. What's going on actually? Oh, I am recording. It's been recording for 6 minutes now. So that's good, because I didn't see the button down here. But now I see it, so now I know that I'm recording, so let's get on to part 3 and the finding a female voice.
If you want to do what I did, and that's improve your female speaking voice, you can even get one-on-one consults with Andrea via online video conferencing. Go to genderlife.com/consult to check for availability, or just get your own copy for uninterrupted offline viewing at genderlife.com.
Now, unfortunately for us, testosterone actually thickens your vocal cords, which makes them vibrate at a lower frequency. So after you hit puberty and your voice changed, that's when your vocal cords start to thicken. And once that's happened, it's irreversible. So unless you were lucky enough to get on anti-androgens before you were 12 or 13, you probably have irreversibly thickened vocal cords, like me. That means that, we just have to work a little harder to find the right voice. I also want to talk for a minute about voice surgery. Basically, there's a couple of procedures, and what they do is they attempt to raise the pitch of the voice by stretching those two white muscles we just saw. The idea being it's kind of like a guitar string. If you tighten it up, it makes it vibrate at a higher pitch. These procedures are generally not successful, and I do not recommend voice surgery. If for some reason you do decide to do it, it's not going to be a magic cure-all. You're still going to have to do exercises like this both before your surgery and after your surgery if you hope to have any success. This is not something where, you can just pop some pills or lie down on a table and have your voice magically corrected. This is going to take some practice, but I know you can do it. So with that, let's get into some lessons. The first things I want to do is sort of familiarize you with the muscles that we just looked at in your throat. For these exercises, you're going to need a couple of things. One, go pour yourself a glass of water and, pause the tape and get that done. And the other thing you're going to need is a small vanity mirror if you have one. If you don't, you can just do this in your bathroom mirror and it'll be fine. The first series of exercises we're going to do are going to sort of help you feel where these muscles are that we're going to be working with. All of these exercises have no tone to them. In other words, you're not going to be making a ah sound or anything like that. It's all just going to be without tone. So the first thing I want you to try to do is yawn. And I know it's kind of hard to yawn on demand, but maybe if you watch me do it, it'll make you do it. And what you want to do is, as you're doing it, press on either side of your trachea. And you're going to feel that your entire voice box and trachea actually moves up and down as you yawn. Ready? And you'll feel at the end when you swallow that everything is compressing together. Let's try that again. What's happening when you're yawning is you're actually opening your throat as far as it can go. If you were making a tone as you were yawning, it would be an ah sort of sound. It's like, in fact, if you did like this, hear how it sounds like an ah kind of sound? It's because your throat is so open that that's the only vowel sound that we can make at that time. Okay, what we're going to do with our mirror is we're going to look down into our throat just to sort of see what's going on. Now, you're not going to be able to see your vocal cords because you have to press down your tongue awfully hard to see all the way down that far. Your vocal cords are actually right about here in your throat, and it's a pretty long ways down. But you can see the top of the voice box contracting when you do higher notes and expanding when you do lower notes. So this can just help you sort of feel those muscles and understand what's happening when you change your pitch in your voice. So what we're going to do is look into the mirror, open our mouths as wide as we can, and press down on our tongue and just sort of watch what's happening in the back of our mouths as we do these notes. Ready? The next couple of exercises we're going to do are a little gross, but they help you to understand the mechanism that's going on in your throat. And it has to do with the way that we clear phlegm from our throats, because what you're doing when you're doing that is actually constricting your air passage in certain places, and that constriction forces the phlegm out of that area. So the first thing I want to do is just try clearing our throat a couple times. And you're going to hear me do it a few different ways, and I want you to try to emulate those, because if you clear your throat down low, it's at a very different place than when you clear your throat up high. And I'll show you right now. All of those you'll feel is actually happening in a different place in your throat. So just try a few of those with me, and just try to get a sense for where that's happening in your throat and the muscles you're using to constrict your throat in those places. So just try a few of those for a while, and then get back to me. What I want you to do is like almost pretend like you're getting, like a loop. So you're going to go like this. What that's doing is it's actually constricting your throat in a smooth pattern from the bottom to the top. When you do it, you can actually feel all the muscles that we're going to need to be using. So even though it's gross, let's do it along. Ready? The next thing we're going to do, you'll need your glass of water for, because we're going to gargle. When you're gargling, what happens is you are using these muscles that we were just playing with to clear phlegm. And gargling helps soothe your throat because you're getting liquids to the top part of your throat as well as the bottom part of your throat by relaxing different muscles. And you'll feel it, I think, as we gargle. So we're just going to do this a few times. So let's just take a sip and gargle along with me. Ready? That was fun. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is a little exercise that involves some tone. We're going to be doing a g sound.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that when you do a g, that way in the back of your throat is because you're using the very back of your tongue to seal your voice box for just a minute and then letting air out, and that's what makes that G sound. And if you do it in certain ways, as we're going to practice, you can actually feel the muscles that we're going to be playing with. So, you know, when you say gift like that,
Gift.
it's
Gift.
up in your palate,
Gift.
like
Gift.
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 But we
Gift.
want to do
Gift.
G.
Gift. G.
And
G.
as you do it, you're going to try to open up your throat. So it's like this. G.
Go. Go. Go.
Go.
Go. Go. Go. Go. Go. Go. Go. Go. Go. Go.
And if you keep doing it,
Go.
you can feel the
Go.
difference
Go.
between
Go.
gift and G. Gift.
Gift.
Go.
Go. Gift.
Gift.
Go.
G.
Gift.
Go.
Go. Gift.
Go.
Go. Go. Go.
And that's why
Go.
when you're drinking,
Go.
sometimes it sounds like
Go.
go,
Go. 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 Go.
If you can make that sound, you're actually using the muscles that you need
Go.
to work
Go.
with. So
Go.
let's
Go.
try that.
Go.
Ready?
Go. 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 Go.
And you can hear how there's different feel to each one of those.
Yes.
We're going to go into some of that
Yes.
resonant stuff a little later, but that's just to help you feel those muscles. Okay, the next exercises we're going to do are breathing exercises.
Yes.
Because we're going to be breathing in and out a lot, it's important that you're sitting down for these. And if you start to feel lightheaded, just stop for a minute. Just, let yourself get back to normal. There's no reason to rush through these. Don't hyperventilate. Just take your time. The first thing we're going to do is blow with our hands in front of our face, because we're going to feel different ways that breath comes from our lungs. Your voice should be supported by your lungs. So we've got our shoulders back, chin up. We're going to breathe in deep through our nose, and we're going to blow on our hand like we're trying to cool some soup. Ready? And you feel how that's cold, right? Now we're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to try to warm our hand like it's a cold day. That's going to involve going. Now you notice when you do that the breath is very warm. And the reason is because you're pushing a lot of volume of air up through your lungs and through your throat, which is in a very open position. When you're going ah, that's why when you're at the dentist they have you say ah, because you're opening your throat as wide as you can. So let's try that again. That's going to be really important for some future exercises. Okay?
Alright, that was part 3 of this video. Some exercises at least. I was thinking that I would do what they said was beginner and novice, like the first 20 steps or something. I think that in the future I'm just going to do this by the booklet so that I don't have to stream the entire video and everything. So that's it, but the next part, this is going to be a very long video, but I hope that's okay for everyone, just me, because I'm going to be the only one watching this.
If you want to do what I did, and that's improve your female speaking voice, you can even get one-on-one consults with Andrea via online video conferencing. Go to genderlife.com/consult to check for availability, or just get your own copy for uninterrupted offline viewing at genderlife.com.
Okay, so now let's get a big deep breath, and we're going to do some things that are kind of like annoyed sighs. And you'll notice that there's different ways that you can do it. But the basic idea is this. Now, that one was actually pinched very much up at the top of my voice. Listen to the different ways that you can do it and try to follow along. Ready? And there's one that if you do it low enough, it almost sounds like you're running out of air like this. It's almost like you're coughing. What you're doing is you're expelling air from the deepest part of your lungs when you do that, and opening your throat as far as you can. So let's try that range again. That's using all those muscles supported by the breath that we want. Now I know that some of these may be a little hard to hear on the video, but if you're doing it, with your tape recorder, you may be able to hear what I'm trying to tell you. We're going to do some sound, but with different vowel shapes using our mouths, because all we're doing when we change the shape of our mouth is that's how we create different vowels. So we're going to do a long E, a long I, and a long O with the. So first we go. Breathe in deep and do it again. Ready? And you can feel your throat muscles actually changing, as well as the mouth shape. And that's what you really want to concentrate on, is really thinking about those. So try this again a few times, and then we'll get to the next lesson. The next thing we're going to try is an ow sound with the, but don't make a tone, so just go. And you'll feel the sides moving your mouth. Try to concentrate on your throat and what's happening there. What you're doing is you're actually constricting the shapes and making different vowels. And without the tone, you can kind of feel it a little better. Okay, the next one that we're going to do is actually the most important of the non-tone sounds we're going to do. And that's an ah sound, but without the tone. So just go like this. And again, that ah sound forces you to open up your throat and use your full lungs. And that's the way we want our throat when we add tone, which is what we're going to do right now. This is going to sound really breathy at first, and that's okay. We're going to overcorrect it first. It's almost like when you learn a foreign language, you overpronounce the words at first, and then eventually get into the way that people normally speak. That's what we're going to do here. So we're going to add tone to our, but it's going to be really breathy. And the way we're going to do that to make sure that you're staying breathy is to hold our hands in front of our face so that we can feel that warm air hitting our hands. Ready? And what we're going to do is just add some tone, whatever tone you want. I'll do a pretty low one. Now you should actually feel the warm air hitting your hand. If you don't, then you're doing something too pinched. So let's just try a few more. Ready? Okay, this next part we're going to talk about has to do with the sound that we were just doing. If you're doing that sound and adding tone, there's a certain point in your voice as you go up where you can no longer hold that and that's where you've reached what's called your falsetto. It's also called your break when you're singing. And what it is a point where you can no longer hold your natural resonance and your voice skips into another register where it's using a really pinched nasally sound. There's some popular singers that have used it, like the Bee Gees or Frankie Valli. I'll sing a little so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Walk like a man, walk like a man. You see how it sounds? Walk like a man. And then, the Bee Gees, it's like, you can't tell by the way I used to walk and my world's made. I don't know why all these falsetto songs have that man thing going in them, but they do, and that's why we want to avoid it.
What you're looking at now is several ways that you can express pitch, both musically and scientifically. some of you who've had music lessons as kids or
I
in
really
school
can't do this.
might find it easier to understand these concepts if they're presented in musical terms.
This is too hard for me. I can't
So what we've done
understand
is
this,
we've
no.
presented you with the scale,
Unfortunately,
notes on a keyboard,
my frequency
and then
is
below that
about
are
here,
numbers
so
that
it's
represent
very
scientific
low on the
notation
female
in
spectrum.
hertz.
I want to get here at least.
I've also marked the approximate average and the pitch range for male and female with the blue and pink bars respectively. If this is confusing to you, it's not necessary for you to understand these concepts, so don't worry. I include them here because some readers will better understand what they're trying to do if they see it this way. Everyone learns differently,
If they
so
see it
don't get
this
hung
way,
up on
see
this.
it
It's not
this way.
making sense. On the scale at the top, you'll see musical notes, which are those black dots, are placed in relation to two five-lined clefs, which tell the music reader which note to sing or play on their instrument. A scale is just the basic vocabulary of music, much like letters are the basic components of spoken language. In fact, they're so similar that music notes are assigned letters from A to G, after which they repeat. The top part shows an ascending musical scale, so the pitch gets higher as we move from left to right, and the notes go up. If you look at the scale, I've marked all the C's in bold to help you see the repeating pattern. The reason I chose C instead of the first letter A is because there's certain things about C that make all this easier to understand, and we'll get to that later.
C.
Whenever you're looking at a keyboard, you can actually find a C on it pretty easily. All you have to do is look. The black keys are in groups of 2 and 3. All you want to do is find a group of 2. If you choose the left one of the 2, the next white key to the left is always a C. So, for instance, this is a C, and this is a C. Now, if you look at the way notes are arranged on the diagram in your booklet, you'll see that they're in ascending order up a scale. And a scale is just playing the notes in order up from an octave or going as far up as you want to. So it would be like this.
C, 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 C. Or
And
something.
that's a scale. It's an octave scale. Now the distance between one C and another C is called an octave because there's 8 notes in between. Like for instance, if you want to hear what an octave sounds like, the first 2 notes from Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz is an octave. So that's an octave. Basically, male voices are about an octave lower than female voices. So a male voice would be down here and a female voice would be up here. So all you're going to have to do is raise the pitch of your voice about an octave.
Yeah, that's
Now, if you look at the diagram in
yeah,
your
that's not,
booklet,
nothing at
you
all.
see that I've marked
No, it
where
isn't.
male range is, which is
No, it
approximately
isn't.
from about here all the way up through about here. Most males can work a range about that wide. Now, female range tends to go from about here up through here. So there's a little more range, and you can see that there's some overlap right in here. What we're going to try to do is get above that overlap a little bit. Now technically, the exact middle of male range, the average for males, is this note right here. That's about where most male voices resonate at. What we're going to try to do is get closer to the female range, and the exact average is this. You can see in your booklet that's marked as a pink note, and this is the A key that's just below middle C. Now what we're going to do during these exercises is actually use middle C as our reference point, and that's this note. We're going to overcorrect a little bit because it'll help you sort of stay up in this part of the range rather than dipping down into the overlap part.
Yeah, that did nothing for me at all.
Now, as far as the scientific notation, pitch is measured scientifically in hertz, or cycles per second. That means if a pitch is 220 hertz, there are that many up and down vibrations each second. Now, it turns out there's a lot of math found in music, too. So if pitch is half of the hertz, it's an octave lower. If it's twice the hertz, it's an octave higher. There's only about 1 octave difference between typical male and female voices. So wherever you are now, you probably just need to raise it about an octave. Now, average female pitch is about 220 hertz, which corresponds almost exactly with the A, that's 2 white keys below middle C. It's also the second lowest sounding string on a guitar or a cello. Now we're going to overcorrect a little bit and use middle C as our target note.
Now that
So that did really nothing for me, the last part, because I have no idea about notes and how you have to sing the notes and such. I mean, I know that C is about up here somewhere, but I'm not up there, I know. So that's an issue, but let's see how they present ways to sound this. So that comment didn't appear to be very kind to me, but I'm not going to look into that too much now, because crying does help. No, I know that crying won't change anything, but I felt the urge to do so. And yeah, that's it. Next part, part 5.
If you want to do what I did, and that's improve your female speaking voice, you can even get one-on-one consults with Andrea via online video conferencing. Go to genderlife.com/consult to check for availability, or just get your own copy for uninterrupted offline viewing at genderlife.com.
looked at some musical stuff, we're going to play with our pitch, but we're going to try to find a place where your voice goes into your break or into falsetto. And the way we're going to do that is by using our sound. We're just going to go up a scale or do a couple other ways and see where your voice breaks into falsetto. So I'm going to show you how mine works, and then you can follow along. So just listen to this one. What I'm going to do is start, and then eventually you're going to hear it. I'll point to camera when that happens. And you hear right there, it actually breaks into a place where I can no longer breathe out the way that I was and do that. Because you can't hold your voice box open like that and do a falsetto note. So that's your break. So we're going to do some exercises now to help you sort of find that point on your scale. We're going to do those with the keyboard first, and then we're going to do some other exercises in case you can't follow along with the music. The next thing, now that we tried it with the scale, is just sort of like a siren effect, and this doesn't require any sort of musical skill or being able to sing along. You're just going to keep going up until your voice breaks. Now, you're going to need a big breath for this, and don't do a bunch of these in a row because you will get dizzy. So, take a deep breath, and just listen to me on this first one, and then we'll do a few. Ready? Did you hear where my voice, I actually almost broke, and that's why they call it the break, because you can no longer maintain that full throat. So let's try a couple more of those, and just sort of follow along. And just keep trying until you sort of find that spot.
throat just below your break. So I'm going to track you down there right below mine. Just keep sort of trying to feel where that is. Once you find it, then you'll know exactly the uppermost part of your vocal range. And that's sort of where you want to work from when you're speaking. You never want to go much above that, except in rare instances we'll talk about later. So for me it's right in that range. So just keep putting practice on that range right through there. The next thing we're going to try to do is play with our resonance within our regular range. You can actually force your falsetto within your regular range by doing certain exercises. So let's try it. The first thing we're going to do has to do with making an sound. Because when you do that, what you're doing is you're actually making your voice pinch right at the point where your falsetto happens. If you feel that, that muscle is exactly what we're going to be playing. So if I hold that out, I get this. And you see how that sounds like kind of like a buzz or something, like a bug. What we're going to do is we're going to go from that into our So if you listen, you hear a point where it goes from pinched to our full throat. Most people who have a bad female voice are doing their voice in this pinched part. So we're going to try to listen really carefully. Listen to me do it again. You hear the difference? That's what you're going to try to do. So let's try it along together. Ready? I'll do one, then you do one. I'm going to try a couple of lower tones too. And just let it trail off to breath. Okay, you know how when you make a creaky gate sound, sometimes it sounds like ear. We're going to do a little exercise with that now. What I want you to do is make that sound. Great. Now I want you to try to hold it on one note, just like this. And it doesn't matter what note. You could be lower. And then go like this with your breathy voice. And go back and forth between the two. In order to find the right resonance, what we're going to do is we're going to look for a place between those two exaggerations, between that pinched voice and the breathy voice, because the perfect voice that you want is right in between those two, so we just have to find the right mix.
Okay.
For this next exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to make an ah sound. We're going to go back and forth between our pinched voice and our breathy voice and vice versa. So first let's do our ah, very pinched and exaggerated, into our breathy. Ah. The next thing we want to do is go the other direction. Start with our breathy and go to the pinched. thing we want to do with our ah sound is go from our pinched one into our breathy one without a break in between. So we're going to start pinched then breathy. Ready? So by the end, you should feel your breath on your hand.
Or
Okay,
something.
now we're going to do the same thing with the sound of E. Start pinched and go to breathy. Ready?
E. 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 E.
Now we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to start breathy and go to our buzz.
E. E. E.
And finally, we're going to go from our buzz to our breathy in one fell swoop.
Yes.
Ready?
E. E.
Great. Okay, for these next ones, if it still helps you to break in between your buzz and breathy voices, that's fine, but you don't have to. The first sound we're going to do is an A sound, long A. And we're just going to go from buzz to breathy without the break, unless you just want to practice. Ready? Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the long I. Ready? And the last one we're going to do is our O sound. Ready? So now that we know where middle C is, and we know that that's in the middle of the female range, it's going to be really helpful for you if you can keep that note in mind. So at the end of the tape, I'm going to play that note so that you have it as a reference. But you can also, just for portability's sake, get a harmonica or a tuning fork, or there's these little round things that are kind of like harmonicas that acapella groups use. You can get most of those at a music store. And all you just want to do is set it to C, and then just keep that middle C in your head. And use that as your bass note.
Alright, so I think that that's gonna do it for the funny female voice today. I don't have the insight that Andrea does in music, and some other people might have. So that is an issue, of course, but I did some exercises, so that's good. So let's just go to the Christella VoiceUP. It looks so strange when I'm recording with a different device, because right now I'm seeing a massive big picture of myself on my computer. So what I learned from the booklet, at least, was that I don't have a proper position when I do this. So I'm going to change that now and do it like this.
Welcome to stage 1 of the Christella N2F voice exercise 1.
Forward focus,
face resonance.
forward focus, face
The following
resonance.
exercise exercise is useful to practice
Yes.
to lift the pitch and the resonance and to bring the voice forward so that it is placed into the face. If you place your hand on your chest and make the sound ah, you will feel vibration behind the palm of your hand. This is known as chest resonance. Ah. Place 2 fingers by one side of your nose and make the sound as if you are agreeing with somebody. You should feel the side of your nose vibrate. Now, try 2 fingers placed on the other side of your nose and try the sound again. You may feel that one side is stronger than the other, so keep your fingers on the side where you feel the vibration is strongest and lift the pitch a little, something like this. Now aim to focus the sound from your lips at the front of your mouth in a higher pitch. Next, add some vowel sounds, noting that the pitch will be slightly lifted and the vibrations will be coming forward into the face. Ma,
Ma,
me,
me,
my,
my,
mo,
mo,
moo,
moo,
ma,
ma, ma,
me,
me,
my,
my,
mo,
mo,
moo.
moo, moo.
Now, try some single words. Make,
Make,
meet,
meet, meet,
mild,
mild,
more,
more,
moon,
moon,
miss,
miss,
meal,
meal,
met,
met,
map,
map,
moss.
moss.
Let's extend to 2 syllables now. Making,
Making,
meeting,
meeting,
mildly,
mildly,
morning,
morning,
moving,
moving, milli,
message,
message, Michelle,
mocha,
muesli.
And now to phrase level. Make more,
Make more,
meet me,
meet me,
mild morning,
mild morning, move mountains,
many moons,
many moons,
Mary and
Millie,
message me,
message me,
milky mocha,
milky mocha,
more
mail,
Michelle moves.
Michelle moves.
This completes the stage 1 forward face resonance exercises. You may now have a win. Exercise 2.
Pitch contrast.
Pitch contrast.
Pitch contrast.
The aim of this exercise
Pitch contrast.
is to contrast 2 different pitches to help you gain awareness of how the voice and pitch can be placed in different parts of the body. If you place your hand lightly around your throat area and make the sound A in your natural pitch, you will feel the vibration on the palm of your hand as the vocal cords come together. A. Now with your teeth apart, maintain a light smile and try the sound A in a higher pitch. A to focus the breath and the sound at the top of your mouth, above your tongue, and in the roof of your mouth area. Now try the vowel E in your natural pitch again. Contrast this with a higher pitched E. Now a lower pitched I. And a higher pitched I. Lower pitched O. Higher pitch O. Lower pitch Oo. Higher pitch Oo. Next, try contrasting some single words. Lower pitch any. Higher pitch any. Lower pitch every. Higher pitch every. Lower only. Higher only. Lower inside. Higher
Inside.
Lower outside. Higher outside. Lower oozing. Higher oozing. Let's try some phrases just in the higher pitch now.
Yes.
Aim to bring the sound from the back of your tongue area to the front of the face. Any day.
Any day.
Every way.
Every way. Only you. In a minute. Oozing out.
Also try the numbers
8, 18, 80, 80.
This concludes exercise 3.
Intonation variation.
Intonation involves the
Yes,
pitch of the
yes,
voice
yes, yes, yes,
moving
yes, yes.
up and down. Females tend to vary the intonation of their voices more than males.
He, hi, ho.
Short questions are a good way to develop intonation variation. I'm going to model these now. What? When? Why?
Where?
How?
Who?
Next, let's try some longer questions. What time?
What time?
When is it?
When is it?
Why not?
Why not?
Where's my bag? Which way? How much? Who knows? Next, try the words.
Please. Thanks. Maybe. Okay.
Sure.
Great. Right.
Let's practice some common greetings and responses. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm alright.
I'm alright.
See you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
You've now completed the exercise 4,
Vowel lengthening.
vowel lengthening.
Vowel lengthening. Vowel lengthening.
Females typically tend to lengthen their vowels slightly. Focus on this aspect of female speech as you practice the following exercises.
Yes, I will. I will.
Repeat the next exercises
Yes,
and focus
I
on
will.
slight elongation of vowels and aim to keep your cheeks lifted. A,
A.
E,
E.
I,
O.
U.
U.
Next, repeat the single words. Age,
H.
ease,
Ease.
eyes,
Eyes.
open,
Open.
oozing.
Oozing. Oozing.
Now try the phrases. Ages ago.
Ages ago. Ages ago.
Easy does it.
Easy does it. Easy does it.
Eyes and ears.
Eyes and ears. Eyes and ears.
Open door.
Open door. Open door.
Oozing over.
Oozing over. Oozing over. Oozing
This
over.
concludes the vowel elongation. Exercise 5.
Combining basic voice skills. Combining
In
basic
this
voice
section,
skills.
we're going to combine voice and
Yes, we
speech
will.
aspects previously covered
Yes, we will.
by using some
Yes,
familiar
yes, yes, yes.
sequences and then extending into longer words and phrases. Let's start with a number list 80 to 89, which allows you to practice the light smile posture. 80,
80, 80, 80,
81,
81, 81,
82,
82, 82,
83,
83, 83,
84,
84, 84,
85,
85, 85,
86,
86, 86,
87,
87, 87,
88,
88, 88,
89.
89, 89, 9,
Next, try the
Nine,
numbers 1
nine.
to 10.
yes,
1,
1, 1,
2,
2, 2,
3,
3, 3,
4,
4, 4,
5,
5, 5,
6,
6, 6,
7,
7, 7,
8,
8, 8,
9,
9, 9,
10.
10, 10, 10.
Now try the days of the week. Monday,
Monday, Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday,
Friday, day,
Saturday,
Saturday, Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday.
Next, let's try the alphabet. A,
A, A, A,
B,
B,
C,
C, C,
D,
D, D,
E,
E, E,
F,
F, F,
G,
G, G,
H,
H, H,
I,
I,
J,
J, J,
K,
K, K,
L,
L, L,
M,
M, M,
N,
N, N, N,
O,
O, O,
P,
P, P,
Q,
Q, Q, Q,
R,
R, R,
S,
S, S,
T,
T, T,
U,
U, U,
V,
V, V, V,
W,
W, W,
X,
X, X, X,
Y,
Y, Y, Y,
Z.
Z.
Let's try some words of increasing length.
Yes,
that end
yes,
in a phrase.
yes.
Mean,
Mean, mean, mean,
meaning,
meaning, meaning,
meaningful,
meaningful, meaningful,
meaningful moment,
meaningful moment, meaningful moment,
deal,
deal, deal,
dealer,
dealer, dealer,
dealership,
dealership, dealership,
antique dealership,
antique dealership, antique dealership,
increase,
increase, increase,
increasing,
increasing, increasing,
increasingly,
increasingly, increasingly,
increasingly happy,
increasingly happy, increasingly happy, happy,
exceed,
exceed, exceed,
exceeded,
exceeded, exceeded,
exceedingly,
exceedingly, exceedingly,
exceedingly good,
exceedingly good, exceedingly good. So that was all the exercises on the Christella stage 1. I feel pretty sore in my throat now for doing all those exercises and then these exercises. But I'm going to track the feminization of my voice as well. Voice analysis reading. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is the division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arch with its path high above and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arch with its path high above and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it. Voice analysis speaking. So today I've been depressed all day. I went shopping around 10 and then I went to saw my grandfather around noon. We had dinner at his place. Then we played a little chess. I won both times. I'm pretty good at chess, or I was good at chess one time. And then I got home, I cried a lot, I recorded a video, I played some Stronghold, then I started recording my voice, and now I'm here. Oh. Pitch analysis reading. 1% neutral, 99% female, 196 Hertz. So that's a vast improvement actually. I don't know why. But I managed to raise my voice 10 Hertz, so that's great. That's really great. Pitch analysis speaking. 5% neutral, 95% female, 185 Hertz. So that went very well actually. I managed to raise my pitch about 10 Hertz since yesterday. So that's fantastic actually. So I'll try and keep forcing my pitch up more and more, and soon I'll be in the 200 range. So that's awesome. But that ends this video, which is quite long. So bye.